Hey everybody, this is Grace. Today is the last day of September 2024 and our temperature is going to be up at between 94 today here in Texas, north of Dallas, a suburb, big city suburb. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be pretty hot. That means the heat index is probably will be close to, if not up above 100. And you know, I've checked, and I think this can keep going on. Looked at the Weather Channel into October. That's tomorrow. But even late, maybe even early November. I don't know. I have to double check on that. I've checked it once. But yeah, I was not expecting this. And anyway, I'm on my way to Sam's Club, warehouse, whatever it's called now. And I left earlier to go, but then I went and got those $5 meal deals for myself and Adam's niece. So while I was on the road, I went to get me something to eat and said, you know, I told myself I need to eat before I go shopping so I don't overshop. I said, well, I'll get her one. She usually doesn't wake up until much later. Anyway, it's 1:14 right now. Okay, I'm not sure what they're going to do here. And the car behind me is tailgating. It's every time I go out, it's usually right off the bat, right around where I live, that I say, this person's tailgating. Because yes, that's what they do here. This is the thing. I know a lot of other people say, you know, well, they have that where they live. You know, this kind of thing sticks out here. That people just, they don't care, man. Tailgating, and when you're turning, tailgating in a, you can, I'm going to say, what do these have in common? No, what they have in common is they're tailgaters. Well, I always found it so funny that people actually thought like that. What do they all have in common? I know where it came from. I know where it originated, but still, think about it. What they have in common is they're jerks, or whatever. You know, whatever is the situation. Think about what do they have in common. I know why people want to believe that kind of thought. Anyway, some of them. I really do wish I could see what they're doing over there. Anyway, now I need to backtrack, right? Finish each little thing I was saying. Well, no, I don't want to do this. This is going with the flow. Have you watched that that series? Elsbeth. How is she spelled? Elsbeth. I just recently started. I had watched all of it, and I really liked it. I can so relate to her. Okay, the way she is all around, the character, of course. And I don't care how fast you want to go. I'm not going that fast. Period. Anyway, oh, you're going to try to get around me from behind me. Got it. Did you see what we just had to do? This jerk behind me is trying to get around me. Okay, tailgaters, and they're not very logical. Seriously. That's where I was going to finish up, right? You know, people who tailgate in neighborhoods with kids who fly down the road. I was talking about all that. Anyway, go back to this, the Elsbeth. I can so relate to her, the character, of course, fictional. And recently I was watching The Good Wife. I've never been much on watching TV until basically I'm 61, until recently, probably maybe somewhere around 2020 when I was stuck at home, I could say, but especially like this past year and this year, and watching these series on whatever it is, like Netflix or Prime or whatever, where they have them. And I finally decided to watch The Good Wife. And I've said this in a video. She wasn't such a good wife, was she now? It was oddly named. But I'm sure they knew what they were doing. Did it on purpose. But anyway, the Elsbeth is a character. And I hope I didn't spoil it for anybody, but I did not know that because I'm not much watching TV. Okay, never was all my life. And so I find that interesting. And also what I find interesting is these shows, because I had watched Suits before then. I guess it triggered something because of the commercial, that was T-Mobile. Anyway, and the Suits came up, I watched it. And then, eventually I watched The Good Wife. Okay, I haven't finished it. Okay, ignore where I am and how close that one looks to me. But they are kind of parked over the line, and I'm not going to stick out and get hit. So I did actually get a little close. Anyway, what is she wearing? I'm going to be very distracted, especially when I'm like, okay, got enough black and gold on? I'm not really being judgmental. It was just, it grabbed my eye like you wouldn't believe. But anyway, where was I? What was I talking about? Elspeth. I can so relate to her. Can you hear it? I have been making videos like 10 years. And I'm well aware of how I speak and that I have to loop back around. And I actually did, papers on this when I was a career student in graduate school, even, about how not everybody thinks in the 5-paragraph paper kind of way. That we don't all. But there was a whole bunch of work behind it, and it was basically came down to, it was myself, my own work, that certain people, basically when you come down to it, it's here in the United States. There's so much else all wrapped around. It's not just this simple. But we don't all think like white, somewhat wealthy, not middle-aged, white men of a certain class. Okay? We don't all think like that. So we don't think in that linear fashion. And to force us to do so, the rest of us, the ones that do, think in a different way, this one particular different way, to force us to do so is making us do more work. It would make it more difficult, okay, to basically write a paper than how easy it would be for the white male of a certain class. You see? Yeah, and I don't know if it was that one. I had a few that weren't exactly. And it was so funny because it was a very liberal university. They weren't exactly welcomed because they went against the way it's a certain two people who were having an affair. Yeah, it was pretty obvious. The way, well, I suspect, so that they were, but they kind of made it obvious, really. But the way they wanted to see things. Okay, they wanted to, and they. Like I said, very liberal university, but they wanted, the two that were having an affair wanted to see it this way, allegedly. Okay, that's all allegedly, and I could be wrong, and I'm not going to name names. So, but anyway, I wound up two deans. I don't remember. It was 2 or 3. Like one was the dean of the university, one was the dean of another thing, and I think one other one. I won. Basically, they agreed. I was right. I did my work. I did it right, But it could have been that one, or I don't know. Like I said, I had 2 or 3 about how people are different. Okay, different way we see things, and otherwise you're forcing us to do double, more than double work. I am being very distracted. Yeah, I'm being distracted because a woman is backing up beside me on my driver's side, and I don't think she knows what she's doing. She's probably right. She is around my age. Okay, back up into it. All right, whatever. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it kind of does, but not really. Because look at all the trouble she had backing up into it. I mean, you know how distracted I was? Yeah. Because she kept going backwards and forwards and backwards and trying and doing this way, screwing it that way, screwing it, swerving it. So, wow. Okay, when you could just, you're going to have to back out. I know. She wants to see it from the beginning. Anyway, so let's move on. Where was I? Elsbeth. But I can so totally relate to that character, fictional character in those shows, and I just see her. Okay, automatically. When I first started watching Elsbeth, I watched that first. Remember, and the first one I basically said genius. That character is a genius. Okay, but not everybody can relate to that at all. They're going to see it's scatterbrained. Okay, which I have admitted to being scatterbrained, and I have admitted to being a genius. I am one. It took me many years before I ever told anybody. I'm talking decades. Some people that I know, they don't know in my own family. But yeah, people will see us as scatterbrained because we have so much, and we observe so much. That some of us, not all geniuses do this, but when you observe so much, and you're already talking about a topic, you want to just throw it all out there, and it just, plus that paper I said that I wrote, there's more to that. I think I actually wrote another one on this one, and that is that, and this is important right here, see, I have to say it. I'm just doing it. I'm not purposefully doing it. It's to go watch my other videos. My videos go back 10 years. On different channel, but on different channels. Anyway, but yeah, the internet was actually thought at one time as a safe space for women. But how long does safe spaces remain safe? But in this sense, it was to openly express ourselves, because you can have one particular thing, and this is what they called it back then. Okay, I looked back, and it seems like I stopped that clip just in time before there was a child in it. I don't put other people's children in my videos. Accidents happen. I'm not a perfect person. But I did go back and look, and it's not there. So that's why I stopped right there. Boy, my head's hurting already. I've done this to myself. And I'm losing my voice on top of it all. But allergies. Anyway, excuse me, women, it's some women, certain types of women, that this would be very comfortable for. My goodness, am I going to be able to get this out? But for some women, I'm going to do this. It would be, this is a place for women, because the way it's set up, and that what they used to call, what I'm going to say, is hyperlinks, not superlinks, hyperlinks. But any kind of link these days, I don't know what they're calling all the different ones. I think they were all the same back then. But yeah, a woman is speaking, and a female speaking, and then something else comes in that that somebody else might want to go and look that part up, or this part needs to be attached, but not always, not necessarily. If a person is interested, go look. There's another link. You see what I'm saying? All these links. And that is how a lot of people do think too. You see? And they don't need to be having to do it the other person's way. They can do it their own way. Got all that? To force somebody who doesn't think in that way, to like linear fashion, to think is overburdening them. Okay. Plain and simple. It's not fair. You get it? It's not fair. It's like an IQ test, but like I said, I am literally a genius. So, and as far as that character, Elsbeth, this is just my opinion. I don't know, haven't read anything for certain, but they made her as a genius. To me, it's obvious. I don't know if it would be to everybody else. Not everybody thinks the same way. There is also something, I don't know, it's so many years ago. I don't know who I would quote, but it's basically about how people who with genius IQs, I remember it was about Nietzsche. You know, I've heard Nietzsche. You know, those two are the main ones. Anyway, it's kind of like some people will call Weber, when it's, we were always corrected to call it Weber. And then there's what I've heard is Emile Durkheim. People want to say it's Emily. No, Emile was not a female. So, but other people would pronounce it in another way. Anyway, see how I think? This is how I think. But this kind of thing, I would say, mainly I think what we were taught was that people with genius IQs, you know, geniuses, they have original, of course, not always totally original, but they have their unique, let's call it, way of thinking, or their topic. They go deeper. Einstein, okay, for example. They just go deeper than other people. Well, it makes them seem like, you know, various people will look at it different ways, but always often negative, okay, because it's just not the norm. Okay, it's above the norm. It actually is above the norm. You know, it's. I mean, if not, we would all be this. Nobody would be classified as genius. Okay. So, but it also causes so many people a problem. Some people it's jealousy, some it's just they can't understand it. So they don't like that fact. You know, like say somebody who's maybe narcissistic, and they hold themselves up in such a high esteem that's way above what it should be, and you know, the other person is very logical, not running off so much emotion. I was actually glad when I started feeling more because of the medication that I'm on for diabetes. It helped me to actually feel more, not be so like analytical, so logical. Yeah, but I can flip back and forth, my friends. I really can't. You should have seen me dancing. See, I can be silly. Yeah, I was in my mid-30s, by the way. But, I mean, I actually remember this whole situation. See what I do? See how I do it? And that in itself, some people can't follow it. I follow Elizabeth just so easily. It's like, I'm no longer a fish out of water. I can watch somebody, I mean a character, okay? I can watch somebody and feel that, because I've been feeling that so much since I stopped being a student and teaching and all that, and that was a while back. You know, just not being at university, you know, taking classes or teaching classes, just being in a different world. I mean, I know there was actually a show, but it is, you know, being around people that at least think similar, or trying to learn how to. And I was feeling it really bad, and but anyway, people like me, some people don't want to be around because it's too much. It's too much to listen to. It's too much to. I can feel empathy for them. Too much to follow, and what I've really found, seriously, because I've mentioned this before, I'm around a lot of people who they have characteristics of like people who are, I don't diagnose, people who are histrionic. You know, don't mean girls, don't mean boys. I'm not around them long enough, too long, because I'm like, no way, I did that too much. I was young and naive then. But no, thank you. You know, okay, mister, you need to leave the little old lady alone. Why do I call her little old lady? Because that is very inappropriate these days. Back then it wasn't. It was the original LOL. But anyway, he was. I see that far too much here. Is somebody? They do it to me too. I'm a little old lady, but I'm not so little. Although I've shrunk 4.5 inches. Yeah, right. I have so much to say, but it irritates people. I'm well aware of it. Okay, and like in the classes, it was nothing about, that people irritate or get irritated by it. It was more that it sets us apart, that we have deep thoughts on whatever topic, and other people, it's just too much. But they also said, by the way, that let me think about that. That man went and got himself one of these baskets, not baskets, flats, and I don't like that older, mature woman. She's elderly. Is going that same direction. I don't like that. I used to work with elderly people, especially those with dementia, memory, and need to have memory care. And so I'm quite a bit protective. Okay, she's not coming back. Okay, this is getting scary. She may just be. Okay, where is she? There she is. Alrighty, she's coming back. Oh, you couldn't see it all that anyway, because I have this pointed that way. Well, people just run over her. I'm gonna get a little scared because she parked this far close. She might not be thinking. Okay, she parked over the line. So let's see. I'll throw mine into reverse if she goes the wrong direction. But yeah, let me turn this off. Finally, she left. It was kind of like, really now? Seriously? Okay, now you're gonna hit somebody. Y'all are watching this without watching it. But anyway, ooh, you're going back too far. She came so close to hitting them. And then there was somebody walking, and then there was somebody with the carts. Oh my goodness, see, here you can see the carts. Okay, but she almost hit this over here. She backed up, almost hit the car over there. Yeah. But anyway, boy, this is just gonna go on one of the video fails. I've done 2. This makes 2 today. I just going with the flow, man. It's just a vlog. Whatever happens, happens in the middle of it. And I am definitely like Elspeth. Or she is like me. Anyway, oh my goodness, so much has happened lately, by the way. Adam went back to work at a different location. He's been working from home for 4 years. 4? Well, he's been working from home since 2020. Yeah. And early March or somewhere, I don't know. It was early in 2020. I think when I got hurt in February, maybe. And I fell on the concrete. Sorry, hardwood floors. Tipped to the left, fell, and I think I had 2020. Leaving out the word, but you know what I mean. That's why I fell. Perhaps it was so new then. Anyway, see, I'm not going to be able to finish anything today because really, he went back. So it's changed everything in my life. And plus I have all these doctor's appointments. I have one 2 days from now. I got to remember, and a new doctor from the follow-up after the hospital visit a month ago, and yeah, got all that. And then I had a follow-up, but she can't really do anything until she gets the images and can look over, the CT, the CAT scan. And she basically said to continue what I am doing. It's something in the abdominal. They don't know what. And just to keep it bandaged when I need to. So, and then I haven't been able to work because of it. And this is why I'm working, is because doing what I'm doing, because I can't do anything else because of edema and all that. Nobody's going to let me take off work so much, you know. And I can't even work a full day straight. It'd be like 2 hours and stop, or 2 to 4. You know, sometimes even less, sometimes more. The whole health problem is just very. So I do food delivery, and I haven't been able to do that. August was way too hot. I worked I got paid one day. I probably went out more, but that's all I could do was make. I think it was one order I completed, or maybe more, but that's it. And then I don't know when it was in July. I've been doing it for over a year. July was a year. Okay, now how close are you going to get to me? Let's see how close you're going to park. People love to park over the line. Sure do. Anyway, I don't think anybody can these days. I used to be so good at it, not parking over the line. I don't park over the line. I park too far from it. Other people park too close over it, and I park too far from it. I'm not judging them. Listen to this whole video. Oh my goodness. I have jumped from one to another it just doesn't stop. Just doesn't today. But it's because my life has been so messed up lately, man. My life has been so messed up, period. With a rare health condition, and the way doctors, healthcare providers that I have seen have been about it, not being able to get appropriate health care with it, and all around, like I said, you know, and not being able to work. This is the worst of it. There was one time that it was the worst, I would say, but I'll leave that one out because of the health condition. Yeah. But now having to try to do something that really my body, I have edema even. And that's the biggest part of it. Not always the biggest, this whole abdominal area thing. But to have to do something in order to get health care affordable, I have to work and make a certain amount of money. It's not about the money, it's that I showed that I worked and made a certain amount of money. That's the only way to get it. Here in Texas. I don't know the details. I don't know the whole details. I hear something different every once in a while than what somebody else had told me. So, but it's also so much. And then with Adam, and his niece came to stay with us. Then Adam goes back to work. Everything is changing, and it's just like blowing my mind. I'm serious. There's so much stuff. Plus, you know, since last year, I've been making videos about some places having food, selling groceries, some grocery stores selling things from on a shelf, and I get home and they have this particular odor. It has to be. One told me, one store, somebody working there said, it's the cleaning supplies. The cleaning supplies, in my mind, I'm not an expert on this, it's not my subject, it would not be any of my subjects, you know, of study, but, you know, that I earned degrees in. Nope. I didn't, but I would think chemicals should not be on groceries. The chemicals they use to clean with, or the shelves with, should not be, and get, you know, on groceries and seep through them, the plastic bag. And one thing that I have eaten consistently for years, it now has a funny taste to it, and more than one store now has a chemical taste to it. Those kinds of things, being worried, you know, that something's not right here. Boy, you wouldn't believe what I'm seeing. Oh my goodness. Okie dokie. Very expressive people. I need to go in there and do my, I'm just here just to get some plastic spoons. Yeah, that's it. It's an excuse to get out of the house because so much is changing. My norm would be going to the grocery store, you know, doing homemaking stuff. For a few years I was homemaker. I've always been a homemaker. Well, who am I fooling? But I also used to work and go to school at a university and teach, and oh my gosh, so many jobs. So many, not just the second shift either. But anyway, I'm going in. Yeah, maybe it'll get me to calm down all these thoughts I want to talk about. I think I've put out quite a few. Talk to you on another video. Bye. I'm out and I wanted to add a little bit right after I got into the Sam's, and I put a few things in my shopping cart and got around to where I was going, close to it. Adam called. And I figured he would. I was going to call him before I went in, but he went to, like I said, he went to his new, and he went back to work, not from home, but to a different place he was before then. And so things were going to change and all that. He called me and told me what he'd already said that he might do. He said, even today while he was at work, he called me and said, nope, I'm retired. I decided I gave back my whatever's they give back and all that. And he retired. He's on his way home. So I congratulated him. He had already said that he might not make it. He might not like this new thing. And he had gotten, he's been saying he's going to retire for I don't know how many years and how many years. You know, I went through with it, him going back and forth, and finally, okay, okay. So, and I don't, from what he did, there's no way to go back. So, he had already told them that this was it, then changed his mind. Somebody in front of me has a, see that camera. So anyway, I'm wrapping this one up. That's it.